Aston Villa 2, Arsenal 1. Ah, people. How have we managed to lose that game? I actually can't believe it. I've been sitting in this chair for about 20 minutes, just sitting here, just thinking how. But it's not the end of the world. Before we get into today's match reaction, like, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications so you know when I drop a video. I hit 500 subs, so thank you, people. Really appreciate that. Road to 1K now, so let's hit it. But what we're not liking or subscribing to is Arsenal losing games. It is the first game we've lost in 18. So a little bit of context, a little bit of calm should be applied. It's probably why it is the reason why I didn't hop straight on it, because I actually just needed 10, 15 minutes to just breathe and just let it off, get it off my chest. Been in the Arsenal group chat. It's tough. It's a tough result, but it's always worse when you concede in the last minute, okay? So let's start with the first half. Matty Cash, not much happened in the first half. It was quite a tactical game. Matches between Mikel Arteta and Unai Emery are usually tactical games. And Unai Emery, of course, former Arsenal manager, didn't quite work out. Our fan base sort of hounded him out of the club, to be fair. So he always seems to, I don't know, hype his team up and turn them up a little bit more when they play us. But Aston Villa did just win their 7th game in a row. So it's a team that's in form. Aston Villa aren't a walkover. They're not a pushover. It's always a tough ground to go to. We won there with Trossard coming off the bench, and we'll talk about Trossard in a little minute. So even though we've won there in recent seasons, it's not always a happy place for Arsenal to go. So the first half, a bit cagey, very tactical. And then Eberechi switches off at the back post. Villa cross it to the back stick, and Matty Cash, first time. Great finish, to be honest, through David Raya's legs. And they go in at the break 1-0 up. At that point, Arsenal looked toothless. We hadn't created everything. We had Mikel Merino up front, Eberechi on the left. Martin Odegaard was back in the starting lineup, which meant Trossard and Martinelli weren't playing, and Victor Gyökeres was on the bench. So it wasn't the most attacking team. It was quite, I don't know. I don't want to say safe, but it was a very pass orientated team. Eze's good with the ball. Merino, I mean, he's decent with the ball, but Odegaard, he's technical players, right? But second half, Arteta makes the changes. And to be honest, I respect Arteta for making the changes. It's always a risk, but he brings Merino and Eze off, and on comes Gyökeres and Trossard. And the impact was immediate. The first 10 minutes of the second half, we just had Villa pegged in. They didn't really do much, Villa, at all. And we get our equaliser. Saka crosses the ball in. Martinez gets a little touch to it. And then Trossard just fires it in at the back post. So we started the second half well. And I remember the commentary was saying Aston Villa is still in the dressing room. Arsenal have turned up and Villa haven't turned up to play. But once again, similar to the Chelsea game when we drew against the 10 men there, 1-1, it's just like we scored and then we didn't push again. It's just, I don't know what it is. And I've got some of the statistics up here because I'm conscious of maybe sometimes what you see and your emotion gets in the way of it. And we did have 9 shots in that second half. So we were a lot more positive than we were against Chelsea, which is weird considering Chelsea are 10 men. But we did test Aston Villa. Emi Martinez made 7 saves in the whole game. But I don't know, when you're watching sometimes it just looks like we're more focused on not conceding than we are looking to risk a goal. And it's just weird, right? It's weird, and a lot of people might not understand this, but without Saliba and Gabriel, I think Mikel Arteta is even more, I don't know what the word is, but even more conscious of not conceding because he can't trust the centre-back pairing. We've had 6 different centre-back pairings this season already, but Gabriel and Saliba is our main one. So without them there, I do sort of understand Arteta being a bit more safe, but in a title race, sometimes you just want the boys to go for it a bit more, and I just feel like we didn't. And maybe we haven't got the players out there at the minute. Martinelli's not fully fit. Trossard came on, then had to come off after he scored. He was limping. Havertz isn't out there. Jesus isn't out there. And Gyökeres, for me, doesn't look like he's fully back from his injury either. There was a chance towards the end, which was a bit. I was disappointed because I've been a big fan of Victor Gyökeres. I wanted him at the club. I said, let's sign him over Sesko. That looks like being a better decision than not. But then you look at the likes of Voltemada at Newcastle, who's had a decent start. You look at Ekatike at Liverpool, who's not even starting games currently, as they're trying to get Isak in. you look at other strike options, you can't help but ask yourself, would Ekatike suit us more? Nick Voltemade is the physical profile of Mikel Arteta striker, but he's very technical with it as well. And you do just start to wonder, is Victor Gyökeres going to work at Arsenal? I believe he will. I think he just needs some confidence, some more game time. He's had a bit of a weird start where he scored scored two against Leeds on his first home game. Then he scored again against Nottingham Forest, I believe. Didn't score for a while, had those weird goals against Atletico Madrid, and then he got injured. So he hasn't had the easiest of runs. He obviously scored away at Burnley as well. So he has scored, he has contributed, but not to the level that we expect with Gyökeres. And when he gets that chance, he's not there for the chance. Rice puts it in the box, and he's just nowhere to be seen. There's no Villa player there. There's no Arsenal player there. And that's what we signed Gyökeres for. They're the moments we sign Gyökeres, so that when the ball's in the box, you're there to sniff it out. Similar to how he scored against Nottingham Forest when Eze put the ball across and Gyökeres was there for a tap-in. So that was disappointing. Madueke came on for Saka. You got booked, and that was more of a sort of safety sub where you don't want Bukayo Saka getting sent off. I think that was the right decision from Mikel Arteta. But Noni Madueke comes on and flatters to deceive. He doesn't do anything. The way Trossard comes off the bench, and I feel so guilty and almost idiotic for saying we should have sold Leandro Trossard, because sometimes you don't realise what you have until they show you, or it's gone. And thankfully Trossard didn't go because he's clutched today. But when Madueke come off the bench today, he just didn't really do anything. Some people said he was trying to dribble at his man, but you need to see end product. This is what you pay £50 million for. This was my concern, and it's games like today. Ethan Nwaneri doesn't play. I think Nwaneri was on the bench. Yeah, Ethan Nwaneri on the bench doesn't come off. I think that might be the third or fourth game in a row in the league we haven't seen Ethan Nwaneri. And I said at the start of the season, one of the reasons I didn't want Arsenal to sign Noni Madueke was because it might stunt the growth of someone like Ethan Nwaneri. Now, I do want to make it clear, Madueke isn't the reason that we didn't win the game today. It's not the reason we lost, but it's just frustrating that when you sign these players and you're told, go easy on him, because people said I was too harsh on Madueke, and yeah, he did score against Bayern Munich, but apart from that goal against Bayern Munich, he hasn't really done much. But look, Gyökeres, Madueke, I need more from them. They need to step up. If we're going to win this league, those two need to step up a bit, because we haven't got Havertz, we haven't got Jesus, and Trossard and Martinelli are struggling with their fitness. So we need them boys. But Aston Villa obviously win it in the last dying seconds of the game. I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting there thinking, all right, 1-0. I was annoyed with 1-0. I really wanted to beat Aston Villa today to send a statement. You're the first team playing in the weekend. Let's go make a statement. But Buendia, a bit of a mess. I don't even know what happened in the box. The ball was getting blocked, and then it was falling to Villa, then blocked again. Eventually, it falls to Emi Buendia, and he finishes it well. David Raya was never stopping it. It was too close, too powerful. And Aston Villa get the win. It was Premier League, it's prime Barkley's moments, right? If you're not an Arsenal fan, that is brilliant. That is what we watch football for. Last minute goals, drama. You couldn't see an Aston Villa goal coming. You couldn't really see an Arsenal goal coming. But it's tough to take. It's very tough to take, but I'm not panicking. I was a bit frustrated and thinking we've done it. We're not going to win the league, but regardless of the results this weekend, we're still top of the league. The minimum lead we'll have at the top will be 2 points if Man City beat Sunderland at home. And we know Sunderland are a tough side, right? It's still 0-0 between Man City and Sunderland there, 17 minutes in. So it's a long way to go, but I'm not writing off Sunderland getting something from that game against City. I do think City will win, but let's see. And Aston Villa are now 3 points behind us. Now we need to keep an eye on Aston Villa. I don't think that's the team that's going away. They have Ollie Watkins, Morgan Rogers, McGinn, Konza, who I think is I think Ezri Konza is almost underrated. I think people know how good he is, but I'm not sure they know quite how good he is. I remember watching Konza when he played for Brentford, and they played us in the Carabao Cup years back, probably 8-9 years ago. And I didn't know who Konza was, but I remember watching him and thinking he's a good centre-back. And then years later, he's popped up, and now he's at England International and an Aston Villa player. So big up Ezri Konza. He had a good game today. Aston Villa are a good side. Matty Cash, he lives closely to me. A few people I know him. So it's always nice to see him doing well. Aston Villa have a good team. They've got good players. Emi Martinez, former Arsenal player. It always annoys me when him and Emery ruin our day, which they have done more than a few times in the last few seasons. So it's frustrating. It's always annoying. Aston Villa are one of those sides that are always there or thereabouts in the recent seasons, and I think they'll be there. I think they'll be a big player in the title race this season. I think, well, they beat Man City already. I can see Chelsea having a tough game with them. I think Liverpool beat them at home, but Liverpool are going to have to go away to Aston Villa, which will be an interesting game. So, yeah, big up Aston Villa. I think they deserved it, to be honest. I think they deserved it. Didn't look like they were going to score, but they did, and they got the result. But we need to pick it up. We've got two favourable games coming up against Club Brugge and in the Champions League, obviously, then Wolves at home. Let's just focus on those two games. I think we need to win those. I think they're winnable games. I really think Club Brugge, Mikel Arteta has to rest the likes of Declan Rice, Yuri and Timber, maybe Trossard. We probably don't need to see much of Trossard. Even Marino could probably do with a rest. Saka, maybe just don't start Saka. Let him just have a week of rest. And yeah, give people like Madueke, Gyökeres a game and make them win the game. Tell them, go out there, win us a game. Show us why we signed you. I really think this is actually an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the boys to shut everyone up because you know what the noise is going to be. My phone's already been pinging off. You lot are going to bottle the league. Typical Arsenal. Well, boys, this is your chance. Go and prove them wrong. Go and show everyone why the fan base supports you so much and why we believe we have the best team in the world. But I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to try and go hate watch the rest of the league. We need Sunderland to do a job. Come on, Granit Xhaka. Just get us something. Bournemouth have already had a disallowed goal against Chelsea. So, yeah, there's some interesting games. Bournemouth, Chelsea, City, Sunderland, and then Liverpool goes to Leeds tonight. So I'm going to go enjoy that and try and forget about this result because Aston Villa, every season, every year it feels like they just do something to stop us getting our hands closer to that Premier League title. But I'm still hopeful. I'm still confident. I still think the boys can do it. But let's see. That's it from me. Thanks for watching, people. Make sure to like, subscribe to my channel, turn on your notifications, and I'll see you next time. Peace!